What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another NBA Rundown brought to you by Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. Please like and subscribe to this video so we continue to keep the good, actionable information and content coming to you. Today, I'm joined by Tyler and AP. Tyler, how are we doing today?
We're good. Ready to find some winners on these 9 games.
Yeah, I can't wait. AP, I know you love the overs, and I see a lot of spots where I see some high-scoring games coming for a Friday night. How you doing today?
Yeah, I mean, overs on Fridays, like we are talking about. I think there's a lot of juicy spots. We're going to find some winners, and I have nothing posted again. Gosh, I'm itching to get back in, so I'm excited to break things down with you guys.
Yeah, I'm excited too to start talking about all these games. So let's dive right in. The first game is two teams that well, one's doing really bad, and Indiana's coming off that tough loss to Golden State. It's the Indiana Pacers heading to Boston to take on the slumping Celtics. Gosh, how many have Boston lost in a row? I don't know if I can count that high without using my fingers. Oh no, they did. They did get that win over Atlanta, but they've lost three in a row. They got crushed on Wednesday night. A lot of talk around Boston that they need to shake things up and make some changes. They're playing a Pacers team that, since the trade of Oladipo has been having a lot of problems on the wing. I do like Sabonis, but he hasn't been necessarily killing it. Turner's obviously a great defensive player. So Indiana is catching 2.5 in Boston with a total of 219. Tyler, what are your thoughts on this game?
I think this is Indiana or pass. I just can't back this Boston team right here. They're just in complete shambles. They can't defend the paint, really. We should see Sabonis just dominate them down low. So I think this is Indiana as a right here. No money line dogs have been cashing left and right in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see Indiana win straight up. What do you think, AP? Is this the night that Boston turns it around?
Look, I'm like for whatever betting on the Pacers. Like over, under, I mean, sides. I cannot get this team right. It's a clear stay away from me. I actually like the Celtics. I mean, they got so much talent in Jaylen Brown, Tatum, and then if Kimba can get a shot going against Brogdon and I'm not betting it. I think we have way better spots on the slate. DFS wise, it's kind of a stay away for me too. Like Kimba is kind of cheap. He's only 6,200 on DraftKings. I'm probably staying away from Tatum and Brown. I just think there's better spins. And I don't understand Theis and Tristan Thompson in the paint playing them together. I mean, they're back to doing that, and I think it makes zero sense at all. So I don't know. For me, I'm pretty much staying away from this game.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it before. Tyson Thompson are a terrible match. They should be completely staggered, one in, one out. 24, 25 minutes apiece, whatever you want to do it that way. And it's not happening. I think they're definitely weaker when they try and run that combination in the new NBA. So, boy, this game is tough. I think I'm going to stay away too. So Tyler's the only one that had a take here. Take Indiana. I think that if you are with Tyler, you might as well just take the money line. I don't know how many times that point spread of only 2.5 is going to come into play. So I think this is a great game to watch and see where these teams are going. Boston's made a big deal about trying to go into the All-Star break strong. So, maybe they bounce back here, but I think AP's right. I'm probably gonna stay away from this one. The next game we're gonna talk about, the Houston Rockets are gonna head down to Toronto or Tampa to take on the Toronto Raptors. Boy, originally I thought I was going to be able to smash the Raptors here, but the bookmakers made sure I didn't by throwing the line at 8.5. The total's 220. AP, what do you think? Is this a spot to lay the big number, or are you staying away?
I like the unders here. So if you look at the Rockets, they got John Wall and Oladipo back. But look, against the Raptors, their best defenders are Van Vliet, Lowry, and shutting down opposing guards. So you're going to need production to come from, Jason Tate, House, or the guys off the bench. I'm not seeing it. And, before we fired up the show, Tyler made a good point in that the Raptors were playing at a slower pace. So I think 220, I think 221 at some places, I think is a little bit too high. Definitely strong lean on the unders here.
Yeah, I could see why you would like the under. Tyler, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with them right here on the under. I think Houston doesn't get higher than 110 points, and Toronto's going to slow this down. So, I mean, I think it's under or pass here.
Tyler, did you have any looks here for the props? Are you going to get involved in any props on this game?
Maybe a Siakam over 20.5. Because, I mean, he is going to be the biggest man on the floor. He's probably going to draw PJ Tucker as Houston's big man. And they just have so much trouble defending the paint with no size. He should be able to score at will down there.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, and to add on to that, like DFS wise, Siakam is in an absolute smash spot. I'm glad you brought that up, Tyler. Like him at the 5. So like Toronto's preferred to play some small ball right now too. And so matchup wise, Houston has no bigs at all. This just seems like an absolute perfect spot for the Raptors to honestly run away with it. Like I don't feel too comfortable laying the points. 8 points, 8 points is a little much in the NBA for me, but I just think they match up with them perfectly. Siakam, big game. And then, it's Kyle Lowry almost feels like a trap. He's pretty cheap on DraftKings, but everyone's healthy, a lot of mouths to feed. Definitely feel the safest with Siakam.
Yeah, we know that Nick Nurse does like to give his starters big minutes, though, so that could be something working in Lowry's favor. And you look at this Houston team, and boy, I mean, Christian Wood's obviously the MVP of the team since he's been down. I mean, this team hasn't been competitive at all. So I don't want to lay 8.5 either, but there's no way you catch me with a Houston ticket in my pocket. So let's move on to another game that I'm actually interested in getting involved in. I just want to talk to you guys first because I wasn't too worried about missing the number. I can't see a ton of money coming in on the side that I like. This is the Phoenix Suns heading to Chicago to take on the Bulls, going for their 4th win in a row. It'd be their longest winning streak of the year. Zach LaVine, coming off his All-Star selection, looked pretty strong and getting us the over on Wednesday, and we also had the Bulls, so we cashed both ways in that game Wednesday night, which was a lot of fun for us. Now, Phoenix is a team that's been playing great as well. Obviously, the addition of Chris Paul has been everything they had hoped for. They weren't able to pull it out against Charlotte on Wednesday night, but I still like this team a lot. Still, I'm looking towards the Bulls and catching 6.5 points here. AP, what do you think? Home dog spot, is this a good play for me?
Oh, man. Okay, so when you look at this matchup-wise, they're going to throw Mikal Bridges at Zach LaVine. They just did that with Dame Lillard, and he absolutely shut him down. Man, he is such a good defender. So, when I was looking at this game for DFS purposes, we're going to need, on the Bulls side, we're going to need offense to come from elsewhere. I think Kobe White is a guy who's playing much better right now. And then you got Wendell Carter Jr., who honestly, he's been playing pretty good. And DeAndre Ayton, I don't know, he hasn't looked that good. At least fantasy-wise, he hasn't looked that good. So those are the two guys that you're going to need to come through tonight. The other thing with the Suns is, man, I think this rotation with Jay Crowder coming off the bench, he's a guy that can look pretty good and could extend the lead. You got Cam Johnson too, who's coming off a pretty nice game. Oh man, I would have trouble laying that many points on the road against a pretty scrappy Bulls team. Because on the Bulls side too, they could answer with Thad Young, who's been kind of decent. I see it staying close, and I lean the over here. The Suns are another team where it's been kind of they went through that stretch where a ton of overs were hitting. They're very efficient on offense. They weren't even playing at that fast of a pace. I think Tyler was the one that talked about it. I think it was last week. They're just so efficient on offense. They're going to be going up against a Bulls team that just isn't as good defensively. So, tough spot all around. I have a slight lean on the over. My only worry is if they lock up Zach LaVine.
Yeah, and that can be an issue. But LaVine looks like he can score on anybody right now. And one thing I think that will give him an advantage, maybe that Lillard wasn't able to find, is his size. It couldn't be an issue. So where Lillard was having some problems shooting over Bridges, it seems like one of those spots where LaVine might be able to get the shots that he wants. But for me, if I do play the Bulls for it to cover, I'm thinking that I'm going to need big games from Wendell Carter Jr. and Thaddeus Young. And Wendell Carter Jr. has been fantastic since his return to the lineup for an injury, and that's one of the reasons I was leaning this way. Tyler, give me your thoughts on this game.
Well, I guess I'll be the guy, and I'll go on the other side here.
All right, let's hear it.
I mean, we're getting Phoenix off a loss here. They just lost that tough game to Charlotte. Mm-hmm. Their first in effective field goal percentage over the last 5. which I'm pretty sure they've been first for like the past month.
Yeah.
They're second, or that's the Bulls that are second in opponent field goal percentage. Phoenix is 19th. Both are playing average pace, but I just think this is just like you said. Mikal Bridges goes to Levine. That forces the offense to come from other places. Kobe White's going to have CP3 all over him. So it's really got to come from the front court. And I mean, Ayton's not the best defender, like AP said, but I don't think either of them guys are going to be able to do much down there. So I think Phoenix just runs away with this one.
All right, so me and Tyler are opposite on this game. Interesting to see where it turns out, but tell me your thoughts on the total.
I got to go over here.
Yeah.
Phoenix team total over too.
All right.
I think Phoenix just dominates this game. I think they hang 125 to 130 points.
Wow. All right. These are some strong takes. I love it, Tyler, and that's what we're here for. We want to hear the strong takes and the good opinions. Now we're going to move to a game that, one team just joined my auto fade list, and one team is trying to get their way off it, and that's the Sacramento Kings heading to play the Detroit Pistons. The Kings gave up 140 points last night to a New York Knicks team that averages 103 on the year. So if anything shows you how bad their defense is, it's that. Jeremiah Grant returns for the Pistons, who are only 9-23 this year, but 16-13 against the spread. Tyler, what do you think? Take the home team here?
I mean, yeah, I really wouldn't want much to go here on the side. It would just be over or pass right here for me. There's going to be no defense played by the Kings. Just like you said, they let the Knicks hang 140 last night.
Yeah.
We know we've seen them on this back-to-back spot where they don't play defense a couple nights ago versus Milwaukee. So as long as Detroit can put the ball in the hoop, I think this game soars over.
Jeremiah Grant player props sound appealing?
Oh, yeah, you got to go there. I think his number was 22.5. Go over there. And any of the guys that have FanDuel where you can bet it says to score 30 plus or 35 plus, you'll get nice, juicy plus odds on that. I think those are worth half-unit plays.
Yeah, I mean, if you see Bagley matched up against him, I mean, I would hit all the alt overs as soon as you can. AP, what do you think about the Kings and the Pistons?
Yeah, I think it's a clear over spot, and man, it would have been one to get on early. I think it opened at 223.5. I wish I would have looked at that. It's already up to 227. I think it could go over 230. I'm not saying take it at 230. I'm just saying I could definitely see a path. It's just Kings are playing at such a fast pace, and they play no defense. Now, Detroit isn't like good offensively at all, but you got like this battle going on. I think Dennis Smith Jr. and Saban Lee are competing for a spot. Lee's look good off the bench. They're both looking to score buckets right now. You got Jeremy Grant back. He's going to shoot whenever he wants. His shot has been kind of bad, but I think like my bet here is I just think the guy was tired. I think, he should come in well rested. He got to rest last game, and I think he plays big minutes. I think he takes well over 20 shots. I think he puts up a big number. I think he crushes fantasy-wise, and I think Dennis Smith crushes fantasy-wise. I think Saban Lee crushes. And look, like even Josh Jackson can play good at times. He's going to have free looks. So, like, it just screams over. And, I definitely wouldn't touch the under in this game at all. Sidewise, maybe a slight lean on the Pistons side since they have Grant back. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I think you look at the Pistons, and it shows you, and it's something I think the Kings should do, why, when you're not good, you get rid of your veterans and you let the younger guys play, right? Because who knew who Saban Lee was? I wasn't really he wasn't on my radar to begin the year, right? And I think he's come in, and you made a good point. I think he's outplayed Dennis Smith Jr. Obviously, they're trying to get Dennis Smith the time to develop. This is probably his last chance to really make it in the league. But watching Saban Lee come in and play so well for Detroit, it shows you sometimes it's better to give these young, unknown guys some minutes, and maybe you can find a diamond in the rough, kind of like the Sixers did with Covington years ago during their process. And I've been interested in watching Saban Lee develop, and I think that if you're on the Pistons side, he'd be a good reason to do it. Now, so DFS, you think that AP, do you think you have a lot of these guys in your lineup, or is there some better spots?
Yeah, it's picking and choosing which ones you want. I mean, so like on DraftKings, all the Kings guys are underpriced. Like Fox is 7.7K. Hield, Barnes, Bagley, Holmes, they're all under 6K. You got Halliburton, who's fairly priced off the bench. He's been an absolute stud. I think those are the core guys you build around. But honestly, Detroit's the team with the nice little pace-up spot here against the Kings. And since they play no defense. We're gonna like I could see a path where DSJ and Saban Lee hit value, and you pair them with like Jeremy Grant. If you want to get really different, maybe go Josh Jackson. But I think Grant is in a smash spot. So like a way to stack this game up, you play those three and you run it back with Fox, who should have free buckets also. It's not like Dennis Smith or Saban Lee play good defense. So
yeah, I mean, my only concern about throwing Fox in the lineup would be fatigue because they were up and down the court last night in New York. Obviously, that's not necessarily a short plane ride, so could be some fatigue issues there in the second half. If I had to play this game, I would lean Detroit, but I think there's so many much better spots on the card tonight. I'll probably stay away from the side altogether, and I'm with you guys. Even though we missed the best of the number, I still place the bet on the over. All right, this next game, the Atlanta Hawks, coming off a good win over Boston the other night. Gallinari probably had his best game of the year. Now they're playing ATS Darlings, the Thunder, that are 13-19, but 18-14 against the spread. With this roster, you would have thought the Thunder would have like the worst record in the league. They played quite well. Credit to their effort, credit to their coaching. Now they're catching 5 at home against an Atlanta Hawks team that, many would say is underachieving. AP, what did you think about this game? Were you going to get involved in the side or the total, which was 227?
I mean, so like I played, let's see, it was a couple days, when they played Boston on Wednesday, I fully played the Trae Young little snub narrative, and he went nuts, and they blew him out, which was unfortunate because he left a few minutes out there. But man, how about Gallinari too, coming off a crazy game? I completely missed that, and everyone else did too. He was like under 1% owned, which is crazy because he wasn't expensive at all. Mm-hmm. I don't think you go back to him here. Betting wise, I have a slight if Trae Young is shooting that good, and Capella is going to be able to get whatever he wants in the paint, man, betting the under here would be I definitely could not do it. I would lean the over. But still, I don't feel good. Like with the Thunder side, like who's going to score buckets and keep this one close? I mean, Shea has been very good. I think he's going to have to be incredibly efficient. You have Lou Dort, who he can go 3 for 16. That's not uncommon at all. So I think I would lean the Hawks side here, but I don't feel good about it because Oklahoma or the Thunder, they've just been so scrappy. So I mean, maybe Tyler can talk me into something. I do have a ton of interest in this game for DFS purposes, and Clint Capella for sure. I just think this seems like one of those 20-20 spots for Capella, especially after Boston against the Celtics last game.
Yeah, I mentioned Gallinari's breakout game. Kind of remiss of me to forget that Shea dropped 44 on Wednesday, causing our consensus pick of the Spurs to go down as Lou Dort drains that wide open three to give us the L there. But Tyler, what do you think of this game?
On the side and total wise, I mean, I kind of lean Atlanta with the guys out for OKC with no Horford and Diallo because it's really just going to be SGA against the Hawks. Mm-hmm. But AP asked, he said, who's going to score points for OKC? SGA should get as many shots as he wants tonight. You look at his stats from the last 5 games, he's averaging 28 points on 55% from the field, 56% from 3, and 85% from the free throw line. He's got the highest usage on the team, of course. And now you just lose the second highest usage and the 5th highest usage. So shots galore for him tonight. That over 24.5 is definitely a play. And I think that's another one where you take 30 plus, 35 plus at 2-1 and almost 7-1.
I mean, do you think that the Hawks will try and put Trae Young on him? Because that would be even better for him.
I mean, if they want to put Trae Young on him, we'll even go up to 40 points. But it's another thing. Like, who's going to guard him? Because
that's what I was just saying.
DeAndre Hunter's their best perimeter defender, and he's not playing. So they're going to put Kevin Huerter on him. He can't guard anybody.
Right.
Do you think they would throw like Tony Snell in there, a long guy?
I think they're going to have to.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a much tougher matchup on Wednesday against DeJounte Murray, and he hung 44. So this should be smash spot for him.
He might be an option as well, but we're not even sure if he's going to play yet. So Check out the Run Pure Sports rundown up until lock to get the official news on Cam Reddish, because that would definitely be a big help. Any more thoughts on this game before we move on?
Nope, that's all I got for that one.
All right.
Hey, Tyler, real quick, do you have a read on Capella? Like, he's been kind of a tilting guy DFS-wise, but, man, when he gets going, it is just – he has a massive ceiling.
Yeah, I mean, these last couple of games, he's been a little slower. He was hanging 20 points, and now he's dropped. He's starting to miss a little bit of shots, but he should just eat. I mean, it's going to be Isaiah Roby and Darius Baisley down there against him. So if this is ever a get-right spot for him, it's right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how Capella does tonight. Probably actually be a big key to his success. If he does well, they got a much better chance to cover. Boy, talk about bounce back and zigzag, right? Here's another one I circled, but I feel like they priced me out of it, and that was the Clippers trying to come back against Memphis. How much did they win by last night?
Yeah,
I seen they were up 30 late.
They destroyed them. This is one of those spots where they have to come back and just own them, right? Where they win by 20 plus. It just feels like one of those spots.
Is everyone going to play, or are we going to have guys resting here?
I think everyone plays. They didn't play many minutes last night. I think Kawhi played 31. Paul George, he played 28. I mean, PG's definitely
on the
going to play.
injury report right now. Patterson's out, but he's been out for a while, so that's not like anything new. But 6.5. So do you think that we should just lay the 6.5, almost like we did with Utah on Wednesday? And even though it's a big number, don't be scared off.
That's what I think so.
Yeah, I think they come back and just smoke them. That's one of those games last night where they just come out unmotivated, and the Grizzlies just punched, threw a haymaker early, and Clippers never recovered.
Yeah, the Grizzlies is a tough team. I've had problems. Why did they take it off the board? It's off the board right now. Interesting. Let me refresh my bookmaker.
Here comes the news.
Some news. Yeah, still off the board. So keep an eye on that if you have any of the alerts set, and we'll see why they take it off the board. But assuming we don't have any crazy news, I guess you're right. I will join you guys on taking the Clippers there and the zigzag bounce back. Total 224.5. What do you think, AP?
I can't really touch it. I haven't had a really good read on the Grizzlies. They've been kind of a tough team. Their rotations aren't super friendly. They got some good defenders too. So, I mean, it's a stay away for me. It's kind of Clippers side or nothing. I will say, Valanciunas was really good in the paint. He's kind of a matchup problem for them. And it's not like he's that crazy good or that crazy fast or dominant. But, man, they don't. What they need to do is get Zubac in there. And at least he has the size. I just think Valanciunas is a little bit too much for Ibaka. He's pretty cheap on DraftKings. He put up 40 in 24 minutes last night. So he definitely has upside in this spot.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Tyler, any player props you're looking at?
Nothing yet. They didn't have them posted for me earlier. Maybe a Clipper spot if the guys get in.
Now, I'm not on those legal books, but from reading the Discord, I'm reading that the props are coming out a lot later than they used to. What do you make of that?
Certain ones, I mean, FanDuel still puts them out the night beforehand on certain games. But, I mean, if there's, certain injury news that can, decide, certain players' volumes of shots and all that, then you won't see props until that news is out.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. So, yeah, a lot of these props are late to the market. But we appreciate it, and we know that when you do find them, you're going to drop them in the Discord for all of us to tail. The next game we have on our list, I can't wait to talk to you guys about this one. Utah, the hottest team in the NBA, laying 6.5 in Miami. Boy, if we had crowds and the clubs were open, I mean, I would be all over Miami here. But I'm not really sure. Do you really want to go against Utah right now? What do you think, AP?
I mean, man, I do like the Heat getting the points if you can get 7. Jimmy Butler's looked really good. And I think this is one of those matchups that if Jimmy's in, if Bam is in, and then I think the key is going to be Kelly Olynyk needs to hit some threes. If he's hitting some threes and helping to spread the court out a little bit, I think you're going to see Jimmy and Bam do some work. And then you need, Kendrick Nunn has played a little bit better as well of late. I think they can be competitive if those guys are hitting shots. And then you got Dragic, who's going to be coming off the bench. If Hero is in, that's just going to help them out even more. I think this game stays pretty close. It's like, do you want to step in front of this Jazz team right now that is, man, they're firing on all cylinders. So my lean, though, is straight up the Heat plus the 7 points. And maybe I could see them getting a win, too. I mean, if Jimmy comes out and plays like he did against the Raptors, they're definitely going to be in it down the stretch.
Yeah, I like the Heat here too. I'm thinking about grabbing the points. Tyler, talk to us. What do you think? Are you joining us, or you going to take the hottest team in the NBA?
No, I'm going to join you guys. I think 7's too much here. I think Miami definitely can hang with them. My only worry is Miami's just had so much trouble defending that 3 line that if Utah starts shooting them and they go in, this is going to get ugly quick. So I wouldn't mind targeting like a Clarkson's 3s prop. Because, I mean, Dragic can't guard him, and nobody else on that second unit's going to be able to guard him.
Yeah, I mean, Clarkson's just been huge for that team, allowing them to get offense.
Yeah.
You know, he reminds me of Jamal Crawford when he won like 6th man of the year, like 7 years in a row or whatever. So,
yeah,
you know, obviously it's tough, and we do want to wait. You know, like once again, I'll say it again. You got to watch the show that goes until lock. My other concern here would be Bam's questionable. Is there any way he doesn't play though, AP?
I think he plays. I mean, he played last game. I don't even see I definitely see a tag on him, but
I see a question.
Health and safety protocols, illness. So something we got to look into a little bit more, or just wait till the news comes out.
Yeah, because if he gets ruled out, I would switch.
I mean, he just played against the Raptors, so yeah, it's something we'll have to look into. But I know it's not injury related.
Lowest total on the board, 218. What do you think of that?
I'd go over.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, if you think about it, the Jazz, you know, if they're hitting 3s, the Heat are going to need to keep pace. And that's why, you know, I mean, I don't know, Tyler, like, wouldn't you agree? Like, Kellyo needs to hit some shots. You need some big play from Dragic off the bench.
Yep.
If that happens, I think it can stay close. But, you know, it's more, you know, it makes a case for the overs for sure.
Yeah, I mean, 218 I think is just too low, especially if Miami's going to keep this game close.
Tyler, do you have any props that you're going to throw out there for this game?
Just the Clarkson over is 3.5 threes prop. I think he torches them from 3-point range tonight.
All right, and I can't argue with that one. Next game on the board is kind of a rematch from that weird game. What was it, like a week ago? It was on the 19th, and that was the game where Draymond got ejected over the jump ball, and then they got the technical fouls, which allowed them to tie it, and then Rozier hits that beautiful game winner to basically steal, what do they call it, stealing it from the jaws of defeat. And so now Golden State's got a revenge spot here, but I think they made this line too high. I'd love to know what you think here, AP. The Charlotte Hornets catching 6 in the Bay Area. Is this line too high? What do you think?
Yeah, so it's kind of, the side is kind of tough. I think the total is right on point too. Steph is going to help out the overs a ton. You know, the Charlotte's another team that's not good at defending the perimeter, so he should have open looks. And he was a late scratch in this first matchup, and we saw a much slower pace without Curry in there. Now with Ball and Curry, I think we're going to see a much faster pace. I think the 232 number is pretty good, though, or it's 233. So I just, man, that's, you know, you're going to need really, really strong offensive efficiency. But if Ball's pushing it, I could definitely see the overs, you know, hit here. Man, I don't think I can, you know, lay 6.5 points on the Warriors. Yeah. I think it's an interesting DFS spot. I do have a ton of interest in Curry. I think, man, he could hit a ton of threes here. And, you know, he's been playing really good. Like his last games, 49, 60, 58, 57, 50. This is such a good spot. So for me, it's more of a DFS play. I have interest in Curry. And whenever Curry's in, we see better performance out of Draymond. He helps out his, what he does with his assists. And so, I mean, I think those two are definitely interesting here.
Yeah, one interesting thing the Warriors have done, and we kind of called for it earlier on the show, they took Wiseman out of the starting lineup. So they're going for more of a win-now approach than a development approach. And, boy, you know, I love Wiseman so much, and I thought he was going to be a great pick. but his hands just aren't getting any better. I mean, he fumbles so many like inbound passes and shots where he should have automatic layups, and I don't really know if you can develop hands. And it's funny because I thought on the scouting report, obviously we only saw 3 games, he was supposed to have soft hands, and we just haven't seen it. But I think the Warriors play better with him coming off the bench, so that's something to keep in mind as well. Tyler, 6.5 points for the Hornets. What do you think?
I mean, it's take the dog here or pass for me.
Right.
I mean, it was a tight game beforehand. I know Curry's going to make a difference, but I don't think he makes this much of a difference. I think you'll also get the uptick in effort with LaMelo Ball here going against Curry. So, I mean, yeah, I'd take that 6.5, and I'd probably lean over.
Yeah, 232 seems like a pretty good number. Did you look at any player props from maybe Rozier or Hayward, or are those not out yet?
I did look at Rozier's threes over 3.5. He hasn't hit it his last 2 games, but you look before that, he's hit it the 4 games before that. I think he scored 8 threes against this Warriors team in that game.
Yeah.
I want to go over there, but part of me also wants to go under because you got to think Steve Kerr's like, we can't let that happen again.
Right.
So I think it's just a wait and see for that one.
Yeah, it should be a fun game, though, and I'm glad that you guys are with me on taking the points, so that'll be a fun one for us to watch. All right, now we're going to the last game of the evening. The Portland Trailblazers, 18-13, 17-14 against the spread, head to play the slumping Lakers, who have lost 4 of 5 since Anthony Davis went out. Boy, this Lakers team is really struggling, and we saw them get absolutely beat down by Utah on Wednesday night. Now they had home to face a Portland team that they've been struggling against. Portland always does well against the Lakers for whatever reason. Lillard always seems to have his biggest games down there. So I liked Portland here. I'm going to grab the 5.5. AP, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, I kind of think we're all going to be agreeing with this stance. I love Portland here too, plus the 5. They do get, Lakers do get Schroeder back. Which is going to be a big boost, and which is why I think this could be like an absolute hammer spot with Dame Lillard and LeBron James. LeBron's kind of priced up, but man, we got to see some big games from him here soon, and a matchup against the Blazers is going to be one where he can at least get to the bucket, get inside the paint. So like if his guys aren't scoring, I think he's going to create his own shot. And sorry, dog's going. Hey, at least my dog's not throwing up this week. that was so brutal. So I think LeBron is going to be able to get his guys going in this matchup, or he's going to be able to put his team on his back and score a bunch of points. I think he gets a triple-double here. I think Lillard, though, is the guy who goes off. I'm just going to keep riding Lillard. Like, he has so much upside with CJ McCollum off the court. I think we ride it because, he's never like super high owned because there's always other studs on the slate. Like Curry's on the slate. He's going to get some ownership. And we have a bunch of other guys that people would go to. So I love Lillard. I love LeBron as late game hammers and DFS formats. And I'm with you. I like the Blazers. And why not throw in the money line? Who would that be? 5 in a row for the Lakers? 5 losses in a row? I can get on board with that.
And I mean, hey, a plus 180, it's not bad value at all. Like, you only need to win like 40% of the time for it to be profitable. So, I do need to put the money line in there. Well, so I'll go ahead and add to my position. Tyler, what do you think? My only concern is Dennis Schrader coming back. Is he going to be the linchpin to turn around the Lakers season, or do they catch another L here?
I mean, he brings back a lot on defense, but he doesn't really bring back very much on offense. I mean, he's going to get you like 16 to 17 points. He's not going to be like an AD and come in and get you 30.
Right.
So, I mean, it's still Portland for me here.
Okay.
I mean, where would we rank this supporting cast for LeBron? Out of like the Cleveland teams he drugged to the finals. Without AD, it's not that good. Like your next best guy is probably who? Schroeder and then Kuzma?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, what's funny is when they first went down, I thought the supporting cast was way better than 2 years ago when he failed to make the playoffs for the first time ever, the season where he just shut it down. I haven't been right about that. You're right. I mean, they haven't looked good, right? I mean, I'm not a big Kuzma guy. I mean, I don't think he's really that efficient, and he doesn't really score that well. Harrell's been hit or miss. Gasol is past his prime. And
Caruso stinks.
Yeah.
He's definitely not been as good at all. I don't know, like if you go back a few weeks when AD was healthy, when Schroeder was healthy, I mean, this team looked very good. So we haven't seen him with Schroeder, and I don't know. I think tonight's going to be a really good test. I think we see a battle, and I think I just see like Dame hitting from the logo, hitting a jumper to win it. Like I think it's going to be real close. Maybe goes to OT. Hopefully, for my sake, goes to OT. And then to win, in the first OT, Lillard throws up one from the logo to get the W. I just think I see it being like a fun game to watch all around.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the slate tonight. I think we have a lot of great games and a lot of positions where I'm taking the points, which makes it even more fun when you're watching and you get a close game. So anything more on this game before we give out our best bets?
Just one prop on it.
Let's hear it.
Gary Trent's points.
What is it at?
They're setting it at 16.5.
Oh, that's okay. I like that.
That's really low. Schroeder's going to Damian Lillard on the offensive end, so that leaves him with KCP, who's a solid defender, not the best. Mm-hmm. He topped this number the first time they played him, and CJ McCollum was in that game, so his minutes were cut in half. Now he's going to be the starter, get the second most shots on that offense. I like his points over. I like his threes over.
All right, I'm with you there. I think we'll see a big game from Gary Trent tonight, and that's the reason that I went ahead and grabbed the points. All right, AP, we've gone through the whole slate. Side, total, or prop. What is your best bet for the evening?
Yeah, I got to say, I got to go with the Kings. Yeah, Kings Pistons overs. Actually, don't scratch that. I'm going with the Heat +7.
All right, Miami Heat
with the half unit on the money line. Yeah, with a half unit on the money line. Yeah, your comment, you guys are spot on. You got me. It was last Friday. I think Toronto was on a back-to-back, and you pulled up those back-to-back numbers, and they were massive chalk. They were all 50% owned. I faded them because my guys got me off of them, and that helped me to print. And so the King, I think Fox is going to be fine. He's a guy that just seems like he could play every single day, and just he's got a motor and could just keep going. But it is a concern. And, if they are tired at all and we see the pace just drop off, I mean, that could absolutely destroy the over. So I'm going to go Heat +7.
Heat +7. I love that. That's a bold call. But that's what, sometimes you got to make these hard bets to be a profitable bettor. Sometimes when they seem too easy, it's exactly that way. So I'm with you there on the +7. Tyler, best bet. Side, total, or prop? What do you got? Tyler, you're muted.
My bad. I said we're going to go over in the Phoenix-Chicago game.
Okay.
Will we get that number at right around 226?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to hop on that one with you.
Yeah,
I won't say no to an over bet.
I think there's just going to be points galore in that game. And even if Phoenix gets up big early, we've seen Chicago start to chew into them leads late. So you'll get your points there from them.
All right, and I love that you said that because you brought it right into my best bet, and that's going to be Chicago +7 now. I'm getting +7. That's too much to pass up. And like you said, they chip into those leads late, so even if I'm down 10 or 13 going in the fourth quarter, I'm still confident that I'm going to be able to cover, and I really like the way that this team is playing. I know that you bring up some good points with Bridges, but I think Levine is just too good offensively, and it's, in most sports, good defense beats good offense, not in the NBA, and I think Levine's going to show that tonight. So do you guys got anything else before we get out of here?
No, I like that call, though.
All right.
I mean, it worries me, though, spread. I've played guys like Levine. Well, you make a good point about the size. I mean, I played Lillard against Mikal, and he owned him. But, Levine, he has more size. I definitely like those points.
Yeah, I love it. So let's hopefully that we can cash. We will be back with a rundown tomorrow because we did not have one yesterday. So Tyler will be with me, and I'm trying to line up some other guests. Then we'll be back on Monday with Joy Work and back to the regular schedule for next week. We've been having so much fun doing these, and it's been profitable too. I mean, the show picks are hitting. It's been so much fun. Break down the games, watch the games, and cash the tickets. I love it. Head on over to Run Pure Sports and RunPureBets.com. You know what? Just get the bundle. It's $100 for both. You'll get access to Big T, his core, JSU's core, AP's core, all the NBA content you need. And these guys have been running down. I mean, the screenshots, it's almost like a daily thing. It's almost like we're getting numb to it. I see so many screenshots on the
Mangone last night.
Yeah, I was about to say Mangone.
Mangone got a 40-piece last night and was Yeah, it was nice to see.
Okay, good.
Yeah, Mangone chipped. Yeah, Mangone had a monster night.
So hopefully his schedule opens up because I was asking him to come on tomorrow, and that'll be good. Hopefully he can come off fresh off his win, probably in some new clothes. That's going to be awesome. So
I guarantee there's going to be no new clothes there. Man, he's reinvesting it. He's already invested that money into Top Shot. I see him on the Top Shot.
That money's right back into Top Shot already.
And we won't get me started on Top Shots. I might be old. I have no idea what's going on with that. But this has been a lot of fun, guys. AP will be back with us next Friday. And you know what? Before we started doing this, Fridays was a tough day with me. Ever since I've been doing the show with AP and Tyler on Fridays, I've been profitable on Fridays. So I can't thank you guys enough for helping me out navigate some of these tough slates. We're grabbing a lot of points tonight. We're grabbing some overs. It should be a lot of fun. Thank you guys for joining us, and run pure.